my name is Maya and welcome to my YouTube channel where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 14th of April 2025. Wow, I struggled. And I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. Today it's a special video. I wanted to do a spring pattern inspiration roundup thing instead of the usual knitting podcast, because I see a ton of those types of video around, but they are always about the same designers, the same patterns, and they always have the same issues about non-size inclusive stuff and talking about the same design features that has been used over and over and over again in the same beige boring sweater. I mean, if you like that, great, but when I watch an inspiration video, I want to see something inspirational, not the same thing over and over again. So I decided to create the content I want to see myself by doing a pattern roundup video with the kind of patterns I want to see. So my goal for today was to select designers that you probably haven't heard about and patterns that you probably don't know about and that include design features and elements that are original and kind of unique. At least I tried to. At the beginning I also tried to include stuff that wasn't my style, but then it felt so wrong to share stuff that I wouldn't necessarily want to make for myself. So regarding the style, it's gonna stay within what I like, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but just don't expect an absolute explosion of different styles for today. It's gonna be pretty much what I like. And I like clean lines, bold graphic elements, and not too whimsical or fluffy or lacy stuff. That's not really my vibe, so you're not gonna see those kinds of things today. But if you are into anything else I said, I hope you are ready. I'm gonna have my tablet with me today so that I can share about the details of each pattern. And one important thing, all the patterns I am selecting today are size inclusive, but more on that later. First, I just wanted to talk about what I have selected for today. So I have quite a nice selection, I would say. 16 patterns, and I tried my best to have a wide selection of fits because I like all the fits, and I also try my best to have different kind of patterns, so I don't have only tops. I have a lot of stuff. So within the 16 patterns I have 5 tops and tees, 3 cardigans, 1 sweater, 1 shorts, 1 dress, 1 pair of socks, 3 shawls, scarves, small neckwear stuff, and 1 homeware item. And on top of that, half of them are great to use up scraps, because if you know me, you know I hate scraps and I love using up scraps, so this is a great selection to also help you use up the leftovers or partial skeins or also single skeins. And there is 1 crochet pattern. Everything else is knitting, but there is 1 crochet. And that's it. So I wanted to come back also on what I mean with a smaller designer. It's the definition is pretty dodgy because I don't like to set like definite rules to put people in boxes. Like, you are a small designer if you are under XK followers on Instagram, and you are a big designer if you have more than 20 patterns. I just don't work like that. So it's more a general view, general like feeling about a specific designer. So as much as I love like Jessie May or Lily Kate or Yamagara, they are incredible designers and their work is amazing, but we probably all know about them, and you don't need this specific video to show you designs that you have already seen, probably, because they are big designers. I asked in my latest podcast for recommendations about patterns from smaller designers and size inclusive designs. I received a ton. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun yesterday and today going through all the suggestions I received. And I, of course, couldn't include them all because there were way too many. But yeah, I tried my best to include most of them, but I'm keeping some of them for the next videos, like summer patterns, fall patterns, all of that. Yeah, I got a lot of inspiration and a lot of new ideas for other videos, so that's coming in the future. but I won't talk about everything today. So that's a good thing. However, there is a downside because about half, I would say, of the patterns that were suggested were actually not size inclusive. And I'm not saying that to shame you because you suggested something that's not size inclusive, absolutely not. What I would like to point out is that it happens so often that we see a designer and pattern and we think this person is size inclusive because they have the general vibe and people like praise this person as being size inclusive and all of that, and actually they are not. It has happened like so often to me in the past, and I'm pretty sure the patterns that were suggested, the person that suggested them didn't knew they weren't size inclusive. So yeah, it's just wanted to raise the awareness about checking the facts, not to make you feel bad about anything, but just yeah, be aware that there are actually a lot less size inclusive patterns than you think, which is sad, but yeah, being aware of it I think is important. So I just wanted to touch on that. And again, don't feel bad if your pattern wasn't size inclusive in the end. I still got a lot of inspiration from it, and I also got lots of ideas for new designs of mine in the future, maybe, because nothing stops me from making a size inclusive version of something non-size inclusive. Maybe. Anyway, speaking of size range, as I already mentioned, the patterns I will mention today are size inclusive, and if they are not, it's only shy a few centimeters or a few inches, not much. Like, I'm not gonna select a pattern that only goes up to 120 centimeters bust. But I would like to explain the definition I use for size inclusivity. So what I consider as size inclusive is a pattern that fits a full bust going from 80 centimeters, no, 75, I think, centimeters. I will put the correct numbers up there if I'm saying nonsense. I just struggle to convert the numbers from inches to centimeters because inches is easy. It's like 30 inches to 60 inches. But centimeters, it's a bit more complicated. I think it's 75 centimeters to 155, 150. Yes, without the ease, which means if a pattern biggest size is, I don't know, 155 centimeters, but the suggested positive ease is 15 centimeters, it means it only fits up to 140 centimeters bust, which is not size inclusive because it's below the threshold of 150. That's also mostly why a lot of patterns end up not being size inclusive, despite the biggest size being over 150 centimeters or 60 inches. It's because when you include the ease, it doesn't fit the biggest bust size, bust size. Yes, you get the idea. So that's the references I use, and of course there is a lot of debate regarding the amount of ease you want to suggest for the bigger sizes, because it's kind of well known that the bigger the bust, the less ease you want, but also people don't want designers to decide at their place how much ease they should use. Designers don't decide anything, by the way, you do you. You select the ease you want in your garment. But yeah, we're not gonna get into that. I will just check the recommended ease in the pattern, add that or subtract that to the bigger size and see if you are over 150 centimeters or 60 inches. Too long didn't read. To make your watching experience smoother, I'm not gonna mention if a pattern is size inclusive or not, and if I don't mention it, it's because it is. And if I say something, I'm gonna tell you why it's not completely size inclusive. Okay. Now, for a more logistical part, I just want to mention I will say out loud the names of the designers and the name of the pattern and write it on the screen here. But I won't say like the suggested yarns or the needles used or the gauge or stuff like that, because I find it super boring when I hear those kind of videos, and most of the video is just a boring presentation of numbers and products I don't care about. So I'm not gonna do that today. If you want those kind of infos, you can just go in the description box below, click on the link of the pattern, and all the informations will be there for you. My measurements are also down there if you're interested. Not sure why you would be, but they are there. One last thing, I have created a bundle on Ravelry. It's my first time using a bundle feature on Ravelry. Can you tell I don't use Ravelry that much? So yeah, I will include the link below if you want to have all the patterns in one place. And this time I think that's it. So let's get into it. First, the first category is tees and tops. So the first one is the... Oh no, one more thing. I'm gonna butcher all the names today. I'm sorry in advance. I'm not gonna say that all the time, but yeah, I cannot pronounce stuff that's not in French. Even English is a struggle, as you can see, so yeah, I'm sorry in advance. So the first pattern is the Pisu top. Pisu top by Ginkgo B. And I love it so much. It's just so cute. And the best is that it has a ton of versions. So you have the V-neck at the top with the little knot on the front. You can wear that one backwards with the knot on the back. Super cute. You can also have a crossing front version, like a wrap cardigan style, that you can also wear backwards if you want. So that's 4 versions. It's awesome, I think. So yeah, I just love the color blocking aspect of it. I think it's super creative, super cute. And the fabric is a slip stitch pattern, so it's not just stockinette. So first, it's a little bit less see-through, it's a bit more sturdy, and it's fun to knit. So I think it's a great pattern for all of those reasons. It's knit in fingering weight, it's knit flat and seamed. It's not in tarja or something like that. And I like it also because it's great for partial skeins or single skeins. You could use a different color for each side and then another one for the back. That way you can finish up 2 leftovers and use a complete skein for the back. It depends on the sizes, of course, but yeah, I think it leaves a lot of room for playing with colors and leftovers, so I really like it for that. And also it's just super cute. I think my favorite one is the knot on the front, but you'll probably need to wear like a bralette or something, or just be super sexy, I don't know, but yeah. I love the versatility of this one. The next one is the... I'm gonna say that in French. Argil by Claire Lakewood. And that's funny because she is a very small designer according to Instagram, but this particular pattern is quite well known and has a ton of projects on Ravelry. I think because first it's amazing and also because it was first published in Pom Pom magazine a few years ago, I guess, and it was just super successful. And there is weird stuff happening with the sizes, because when it was published in Pom Pom, it was size inclusive in the sense that the suggested ease, I remember the inches, it's easier. The suggested ease is 10 to 7 inches, and the bigger size is 64 inches, yes? So if you want the biggest ease, which is 7 inches, you cannot go up to 60 inches bust. But if you want the smallest ease, you're good. And as we say, usually the bigger the bust, the less ease you want, so let's say it's okay for the bigger size. However, when it was published as a single pattern, like when the designer got back the rights of the pattern and published it for herself, the size range got shorter, but she added, I think, 7 sizes, so there are a lot more sizes in total. I think there are 16 now, which is great because the difference between each size is smaller. But now the biggest size only goes up to, I think, 61.5 inches bust. So it's smaller, so I don't really get the idea behind that, because it's not size inclusive anymore, despite having more sizes, so yeah, whatever. It's kind of size inclusive, and if you want to knit the biggest size, you would have to source the magazine, but I guess if you buy the pattern and you message the designer and ask her to give you the magazine version, she would probably give it to you. So I think we're good for that. Anyway, the design is absolutely gorgeous, it's super unique and different from what you see. As I mentioned, I like bold and graphic design elements, and this one is like so perfect. I love it. And the construction is super interesting. I think you start at the bottom hem on the back, on the back half. You knit up towards the underarm, and then you separate for the v-neck on the back, and then you knit until the shoulders, and then you continue knitting the front, and then you join the 2 fronts. You do increases for the v-neck or the scoop neck on the front, and then I think you pick up stitches on one side and you knit in this direction until the other side, and then you do a 3 needle bind off, and then you join the 2 underarms together. I don't know, it's super creative, love it. And again, it's great to use up leftovers because you can use different color for the lines. If you have a partial skin or something like that, it's perfect. And yeah, I think it's really beautiful and unique. And actually, I really want to make it as well. But we will see. The next one is the Bella Notte Blouse. I speak a little bit of Italian, so we're good. Bella Notte Blouse Light by Emily Palsgard. This one is a fingering weight version, but there is a DK weight. This one is knit top down in the round, and it looks pretty basic and simple, but what I love about this one is the scoop neck on the front. I think that's pretty rare, you don't find something like that pretty often, and I like the look, the general vibe. I think it looks pretty classy and like easy to wear, and I love that it's close fitting. Basic, but also there are not a ton of patterns that do something like this. The back neck is also like a slight scoop, but much less than the front, and you can actually wear it backwards because the scoop on the back is low enough to wear on the front. So if you don't want something as deep as the front is, you can wear it backwards, which is really great, I think. And there is also two versions for the sleeves. You have the long sleeves and the short sleeve with the super cute ruffle. I really like it. So yeah. The next one is the Juno top by, I'm gonna say that in French, Vernit. Vert means green. I guess she speaks French also. She's Portuguese, but I guess it's in French. Vernit. So this one, she's of course quite a big designer, you probably heard of her. But this specific pattern doesn't have a ton of projects on Ravelry, so I guess it kind of went under the radar. I don't really know, but I love it because it has a ton of different versions, it's size inclusive and it's beautiful. And again, it doesn't have, it's not only stockinette, it has a texture on the body, which I find very interesting. So you have it's in fingering weight, it's knit bottom up, but you have three versions. You have either just the bandeau style thing, without straps, without arms, without anything, or you have the short sleeves or the long sleeves, and you also have a scalloped edge option, super cute. And you have the straps if you don't want the bandeau style stuff. So again, lots of options, and I think it's really kind of unique. There are not a ton of patterns like this out there, and I think this one definitely deserves a little bit of appreciation. The next one, okay, this one is an exception again, because again, the designer is pretty well known, but the pattern only has a handful of projects on Ravelry, so again, I guess it went under the radar. And this one is not size inclusive. However, let me explain. First, the pattern is the Vilja Tee by Ronya Hakaleto. And it's not size inclusive, but only by a few centimeters. We are really close to the limit, so there's that. And also, I included this pattern because I love the sleeves. Like the rolled up sleeves, that's super unique. I've never seen that in any other patterns, and it's just so cute. But the thing is, you can totally do that in absolutely any t-shirt pattern you already own, or maybe have already done and you just want to modify it. So you don't necessarily need to buy this non-size inclusive pattern, even though it's almost. I'm putting this there mostly to inspire you to do the rolled up sleeve thing to something you already own, maybe to like freshen it up a little bit or give it a new youth, or I don't know. I just think it's super cute. And it's pretty easy to do as well. I think the easiest would be to do the same thing as when you do like a triple brim hat, if you know those. You need, like you would need the sleeve in stockinette, and then you do one short row to turn the sleeve inside out so that the smooth stockinette side is on the inside, and then you knit until you have the length you want for the hem. Then you knit that length a second time, and then you flip it over and cast off or sew down the live stitches to the fabric. Does it even make sense? And then you fold the whole thing and then you sew it down. So yeah, like a triple brim hat. I think it was the worst explanation ever. But yeah, basically you need to do a short row at some point, and then you need to do a folded over hem but reversed, and then you fold the thing. I'm sorry. So yeah, I just love this idea. I love this design feature. I think it's super cute. If you don't want to think too much, you can just buy the pattern. You get the idea. It's a DK weight top-down t-shirt. It's knit in the round. That's it. Okay, that's all for the tops and tees. So we had 5, as I said earlier. Now we're heading into the sweaters and cardigans category. I have 3 cardigans and 1 sweater. The first one, it's again a pretty basic like shape, but I think the details make it unique. So it's the Solitude by Kirsten Joel. It's a fingering weight top-down flat cardigan, and it features those very subtle and beautiful lace panels on each side, on the front and on the back. And I think it's really like easy to wear because there is nothing bold and graphic about it, but it still has the very subtle lacy details that make it unique and special. And I just love also the finishings. It has, I think, garter edges on the cuffs and on the band on the front, and I think it just gives a kind of thickness to the otherwise pretty thin fingering weight garment. And I think just like in the overall garment, it's beautiful. I also love that the designer used the fluffy yarn. I probably wouldn't do that because most fluffy yarns are itchy for me, but regardless, it's beautiful. And this one has been on my list for so freaking long. And it's also because I just love it in summer when you have something very thin and lightweight that's easy to like throw in your bag and put on, and yeah, it's just perfect. And it's also not too in your face with an all over lacy motif, which is great. I would like one of those as well, but I think this one is like a great in between, and yeah, it's really, really lovely. The next one is sweater. It's the Willow Pullover by Andrea Gone. I think that's how you say her name. And it's a DK bottom up in the round sweater. And you probably have already seen this kind of basket weave motif all around. It's pretty well known. However, most of the patterns that feature this stitch pattern are not size inclusive, so I just really wanted to include one that is, because it's pretty rare. There is another one that is, it's the one by Stephen West, but this one is a round yoke, and I think for such a geometric and like square motif, the round yoke is coming out of nowhere, and I think it just suits a drop shoulder construction a little bit better. So this one features the iconic basket weave motif, but it's drop shoulder and it's size inclusive. So that's why I really liked it. And it's the only sweater I will mention because I think it's more like lightweight and less warm than the usual DK sweater, because the basket weave features some yarn overs in each corner, so it means the garment is overall holey, kind of, a little bit, which makes it a little bit more breathable and just less warm in general than a normal stockinette DK weight sweater, which I think is suitable for spring. Okay, the next pattern is the Joyride Jacket by Lydia Morrow, and I mean, it's gorgeous. Excuse me, but it's beautiful. Again, bold graphic lines that I absolutely love. I think it's so unique because it's at the same time cartoony and a little bit in your face, but it's also very chic and clean, and yeah, it's just a perfect combination of the two that I really, really love. There is one, I think it's a tester that did that in more like toned down colors like brown and beige. Beautiful, really, really gorgeous. It's a DK weight top down design and it has saddle shoulders. Again, it's great for partial skins and scraps, because you can use different colors for each of the line colored stuff elements, and yeah, I think that's great for that as well. By the way, the whole library of Lydia Morrow is absolutely gorgeous, so you can just go and check out that. I will put the link in the description. I think everything she does is just so unique and different. Some stuff are very complicated, some other are super easy and basic, and yeah, it's just a great designer overall. Okay, the next one is the last cardigan. Why do I struggle to say this word? In French it's just cardigan, but I don't know if in English it's supposed to be cardigan. cardigan, whatever. It's the Amulet Open Cardigan by Jesus Camus. I said that in French, it's not French. I'm sorry. This one is a free pattern, but it's not completely size inclusive because again, if you remove the positive ease suggested in the pattern, you cannot reach the 60-inch 150 centimeters bust, but it's free. So, and it has a lot of ease. So again, you could also just knit it at a slightly looser gauge and just want a little bit less ease and you would be fine. So this one is a top-down saddle shoulders construction. It's described as worsted, but the gauge is more like DK, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I just think it's so cool and unique because all those very small patches of graphic stuff happening, like stripes or stuff like that, is just so cool. And again, it's perfect for scraps. If you have just a random bit of scraps, like 30 grams, it's enough to do just the shoulders, or 40 grams to do just the band on the bottom, or another 20 grams just to do the collar. It's just perfect. And yeah, it's I love the cropped silhouette with the slightly balloony sleeves. I think it's super cute. It's really lovely. So yeah, and also it's free. So there's that. And again, you can also check out the whole Hobby X Pom Pom, how it's called? Collab. It took me a whole minute to find the word. Collab between Hobby and Pom Pom, because all the patterns are free, most of them are size inclusive, and if they are not, they are almost, and they are gorgeous. So I'll put the link again below if you want to check out the whole collection. There are a lot of very cute and unique designs in there. Okay, the next one I'm super excited about. It's the Gelma shorts by Low-Key Bold Knits. And I mean, hello! It's so incredible! I love them so much! It's a DK weight garment and it's knit sideways, so you don't need to do color work or stuff like that. It's just you knit a few rows in the main color and then you knit the stripe in the contrast color. So cool! I just love it so much. I really want to make them. And it's fun because they go pretty well with the Argil top I mentioned earlier. Even though they are not really the same like vibe in general, the Argil top is a little bit more like bohemian, I would say, and this one is a bit more modern. But anyway, I think they go pretty well together. And yeah, it's just a super cool and unique design. And again, you could use scraps for the lines. That would be perfect. You could do a fade going all around your butt. That would be so cool. Really love this one. Okay, the next pattern, the last garment, is a dress, and it's a crochet dress. It's the AMOUR dress by La Crocheterie, or Anne Nicolas. I don't know if she speaks French or not. Anne Nicolas is a very French name. La Crocheterie is in French. AMOUR is in French, maybe. Gorgeous pattern. I think it's made to measure, so there are not definite sizes in the pattern. But yeah, I think it's something like you need the waistband and then you pick up from it to knit the shoulders. There is just a top version where you don't do the skirts, or you could do the skirts but super short to have like a peplum effect. I love it. It's like really gorgeous. There are a lot of crochet dresses out there, but I think this one is really striking without being too bohemian. I'm not really into the whole bohemian vibe that crochet has, but I think this one is really beautiful. Alright, that's all for the garments. Now the last category is small stuff. I could say accessories, but there is, as I mentioned, one homeware item, so it's not really an accessory. So let's just say small stuff. And we will start with the homeware item right away because I'm super excited about it. If you followed my videos lately, I have been talking about doing lampshades using mohair, and by complete coincidence I found another lampshade in mohair that's like so cool. So it's called the Candylamp by like.kbh. I don't know how that's supposed to stand for. You cannot get it on Ravelry, but you can find it on their website, so I'll put the link to the website. and it's using the FADO lamp from Ikea. So you just need to buy the lamp, and then you need kind of a sock for the lamp. It's knit flat in garter stitch using fat mohair, but you could just use normal mohair and hold it double. And then you just put it outside of the lamp and you scrunch it down at the bottom, I think. And yeah, it's just so cute. And you could totally just use the general like construction and just slap another motif on it, do thinner stripes, bigger stripes, maybe do color work if you want to, do whatever. But yeah, it's just a super unique and beautiful design. I just love it so much. And also you can use your leftover mohairs. That's super cool. I really love it. The next pattern is a sock pattern. They are called the Journey socks. Journey, they are just Journey on Ravelry, and the designer, the Ravelry name is Margaret, but their website is Heidi and Lana Designs. They are a bit more of a well-known designers, and the socks have a lot of projects on Ravelry, but I think it's still important to include them today because, again, super unique and creative pattern. They are just no-show socks, and we all need no-show socks in the summer, right? Or maybe not, because if you hand knit your socks you want them to show, but maybe not always. So yeah, there's a pattern for that. And it's super cute, and also it's super useful because when you knit yourself a pair of socks, and you have like regular women's feet size, you are always left with like 40 grams of leftovers, which is completely random and you don't know what to do with them. Well, you could knit yourself a pair of no-show socks, because they use less than 40 grams, I think. So that's pretty cool. And the pattern is one size because it says you can just knit to the length you want, but if you want another circumference, I think it's pretty easy to just do more increases before you join it around when you're done with the ankle part. So yeah, I think it's pretty easy to modify if you have big foot. And there is a similar pattern. It has the same shape, but it uses up leftovers, so if you don't even have the 40 grams left for your socks and you have like lots of minis or stuff like that, you could use them together and do the other one, which is called Pop. Just Pop. I will also put the link below. But yeah, the two no-show socks pattern that I found super cute. Now we are getting into the last category within the category, which is scarves and shawlettes. The first one is the Loretuch by Irina Himan. It's a DK weight shawl knit in garter stitch and ribbing, knit flat of course. And it features lots of like very carefully placed short rows, and if you use leftovers and different colors you can like feature the different shapes and lines in the design, and it's just so beautiful. I think it's so unique, and you can use very bold colors to have a high contrast, or you can use subtle, like only shades of beige or only shades of grey, I don't know, to have something more easy to pair with any kind of color. And yeah, I just think it's beautiful, and it uses small amounts for each color if you decide to do multiple colors, which again is perfect for scraps. It has a slight boomerang shape, so it's not just a triangle. You cast on at the middle here and then you increase out until you get to the final triangular shape. And it has a slight boomerang shape, which means the top part is not like this but more like that, which means it drapes very well around the shoulders, which is again perfect for the slightly chilly spring and summer nights. So yeah, I think this is perfect for the season. The next one is also because when you knit yourself a summer top or something, you very often end up with like 20 grams, 25 grams of a very like drapey silk or linen leftover, and you have no idea what to do with it. So I present to you the Silky Slinky Scarf by Caffeinated Granny. It's so cute. It's so simple but effective, and since it's knit from tip to tip in garter stitch, you can just stop when you don't have any yarn left. And I think using a very drapey yarn for that gives it just a very like chic and pricey look because of the silk and the drape. And yeah, I think the pictures in the pattern really express very well how it would look like a very summery and warm weather accessory rather than just a small shortlet that's made to keep you warm. This one is really just for style and I really love it for that. I think if I was to do it myself, I wouldn't do the garter because I find that garter with the plant-based or silk yarn looks a little bit messy. So I think I would do fingering, but we never know. I'm not sure how the slip stitches are gonna show in fingering, but yeah, whatever. It's super cute and it uses so little yarn. I think it's a great use for those random leftovers. Okay, last one already. I went pretty fast. Yeah. The last pattern is it's kind of special for me because it's from a Korean designer and it's a piece of traditional Korean clothes, whatever. It's the Daenggi Scarf by Sedna Young. I don't speak Korean, I'm sorry. Daenggi, I think it's Daenggi. And it's double knit colorwork, knit in DK weight, and there are two different sizes, so one adult and one child, and there are two motifs, so either the butterfly or leaves. Super cute, and I think it's just so cute. The Daenggi is a part of traditional Korean garments, as I mentioned. It's something you wear in your hair, either at the top here or down at the bottom of a braid. And I happen to have a picture of me wearing that because when I went to Korea a few years ago in 2022, there are a lot of places where you can rent traditional clothes and just wear them out in the traditional villages or traditional palaces or stuff like that. And I like to dress up, so I did that, and the person having the booth where we rented the garments, she also did the hair stuff, so I have a very cute picture of my mom taking a picture of me in the booth, so you have all the beautiful like hair accessories hanging around me, around the mirror, and you can just see the Daenggi at the bottom. And then there is another picture where you can see it a little bit better. And yeah, I just think the Korean traditional clothes are so beautiful. Maybe I'm biased, probably, but yeah, I just really love them. And it's a great memory I have. So this one is a way to knit yourself this kind of scarf. Usually they are in silk, so having it in wool is a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's still super cute and it doesn't stop you from wearing it as an actual scarf, which is again super cute as well. And if you want to try your hand at double knit colorwork but don't want to do like a big project to begin with, this is perfect to use up leftovers and just train yourself on this technique. I think it uses less than 70 meters per color for the adult version, so very small leftovers. And just like that, I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this little selection. Oh no, battery change! That was close. Anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed this little selection of designs. I hope you discovered new designers. I hope you heard about something you have never seen before. I hope it inspired you to maybe try some new different shapes or new different styles. If you have any more designs or just niche garments you would like to share about in the comments, feel free to. Would be the best if you could check if it was size inclusive beforehand, but you don't need to. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, all of that. It really helps me out. And if you don't want to miss out on any future content I may put out, you can also ring the bell and all that stuff. I will come back next week with a regular podcast episode. And that's it. So, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope I will see you again in the next one.